Now, the big overarching theme with this is that we are dealing with concurrent processes, right? So I happen to be an industrial designer, so I'm thinking from the standpoint of a designer. However, I know that there are also mechanical engineers out there. There are lots of people working with this data, and actually we all need to work on it at once. So we've established that by building this sketch model, we now have a basic envelope from which engineering can actually start working, right? They can start arranging components and designing how the ribs and bosses might work inside of an envelope of this shape. And concurrently, at the same time, I can actually be working on a master model. And this master model is going to it's going to contain the beautiful final surfaces ready to use for our final product. Okay, so let's actually get started with that. And to do that, let's right-click on our ID Master and edit that part in context. Now, we're going to work in context very infrequently from here on out because working in context is very dangerous. The more you do it, the more likely you are to accidentally create relationships between components in an assembly, and that's almost always a really bad thing. Okay, so first of all, up in our sketch toolbar, we have this button called No External References. Let's make sure that that is highlighted so that we don't accidentally connect to anything outside of our model. And like I said, in general, we're not even going to work in context just to avoid that problem entirely. But we need to for now. Let's go to our, top plane and create a sketch. And this sketch is going to represent the basic dimensions of our object. So I'm going to grab a corner-to-corner rectangle, start in the middle, and come out here to where we are about the size of our original shape, right? But we didn't define any dimensions when we were drawing this. We just kind of made it random. So let's add some dimensions to this. I'm going to add a dimension here of 42 millimeters, and I'll add a dimension here of, let's call that 39 millimeters. So that's really close to my original, but it's not exactly the same because I just, I want to nail these down to really clear, discrete values. It makes things look more intentional. So engineering knows, no, I really do mean 42 millimeters, not 42 and a half, right? So let's exit this, and we'll make one more of them. Let's go to our front plane and create another very similar sketch. Corner-to-corner rectangle. And I'm going to make one point, the end point of it, coincident with the end point of this sketch. Perfect. Let's make this other point coincident with the other end point there. And then we're just going to define the height of this. So let's look normal and set a dimension from bottom to top. And I'll set that to 8 millimeters. Now, these sketches are defining the basic envelope of our shape. They're defining the size, the dimensions of our shape. And from here, we're going to actually define the curves that will build the surfaces themselves. So in order to do that, let's right-click this and open it in a brand new window. And that way, we're not tempted to accidentally make any external references. All right, let's do this.